Hi there, this is Solitaire from Solitaire Films and welcome to another random review. Today's random review comes from Iceland. As you know how I like to do lots of mainstream films in this channel. So this comes from Iceland from 1987. It's a TV movie and it's called Tilbury. This is part of the Severn box set of folk horror All the Haunts Be Ours. This is another reason why I have a massive backlog, because there's 20 films in this box set, some of which I've already seen. Again, the discs are in this lovely little set. So we get an audio commentary from the director Vior Vikinson and screenwriter Porin Edgehorn. Obviously all these will be terribly mispronounced. There is a feature with the actor who plays the character Tilbury. With enough Tilbury butter, anything is good. Carl August Ulfsson, and A Boy from the Country, an interview with Christian Franklin Magus, and there's a couple of short films as well. So this is going to be a fairly short review, because I'm not going to give away too many details. The pictures you can see on the screen are fairly normal, but the film is not normal in any way, shape or form. I mean, I've seen some strange films in my time, some little oddities, and Tilbury is certainly a little oddity. It's only 57 minutes in actual fact, but it feels longer, not in a bad way. So it's less than an hour, but it is an amazing little experience. It's based on an Icelandic, strange enough, kind of folk horror tale, if you like, or folk tale, about a milk stealing demon, and it is set in 1941 when British troops are in Iceland. So it has a kind of political subtext as well, set during the war, and this local lad is helping the British troops with sandbags and such, and he's always had the mystery of his childhood sweetheart, who he never kind of connected with. She is now grown up and seems to be the girlfriend of a British officer called Tilbury, and they seem to have a very strange relationship, as he seems to suck liquid from a teat that she has in her thigh. Yep. And he seems to have very strange facial features. If you're familiar with the British TV black comedy The League of Gentlemen, he does look a little bit like a character out of The League of Gentlemen, and there's certainly some Nosferatu vibes in the film as well. And Tilbury is an officer in the British Army, but his behaviour is a little bit odd. He does have a fever for milk, and there seems to be a whole underground operation with the British Army producing butter and chocolate, even although Tilbury seems to have be able to projectile vomit green fluid. Again, I'm honestly telling you the truth. And this young man is trying to get to the bottom of exactly what the hell is going on in his small community. Again, not only do the British soldiers seem to be changing, especially Tilbury, but it's obviously about the nature of war and occupying forces taking over a country, taking over a culture, as a strange creature seems to be drinking milk, then vomiting green stuff that ends up being made into butter and chocolate and then fed back to more of the army troops and the children of the community. Again, I'm trying to tell the truth here. It's just a wonderful, odd, strange little film. There's a tremendous dance scene in the middle of it. Again, in a kind of community crossover thing between the British troops and the local community, where Tilbury and the girl of this guy's dreams just have a wonderful solo dance routine, which is just fantastic, and then it turns into a nightmare sequence, which is not necessarily that fantastic as far as being enjoyable. The film has really creepy moments. The creature effects, even though it's a TV movie, so the budget is certainly not massive, is really effective. It just has this kind of dreamlike quality. It has that weird kind of atmosphere and weird kind of feel. So even though there are some location shots with the army and such, it does kind of feel set bound, even although it's not. It just has a weird vibe to it, a weird atmosphere. There's certainly kind of dream logic to it. The climax of the film is wonderful, but it does kind of raise questions as well. There's the whole idea of what you remember your childhood to be might not necessarily be the reality of that, and then seeing yourself as a child through adult eyes, obviously that can kind of warp your memories. So there's quite a lot going on for 57 minutes. Again, I'm not sure how this film would have got kind of released without being part of a box set. I mean, maybe some of the BFI might have released just as a little oddity, but it fits in perfectly with this 7 box set. I mean, I've watched a few of them. I've watched Leptirica, which is a Russian film from the same director that did a version of V, if you can remember V or Vi. So it still has that Russian woodland with a demonic butterfly. Yeah. Obviously V is in this set, which obviously I've seen. This will be my 3rd edition of V. I watched Lake of the Dead, which is a lovely little Norwegian film about a bunch of friends who go to a lake, and there's a cabin where they're staying where people get possessed, or that's what the story goes. But interestingly, it's not a group of teenagers. It's from 1958, I think. So it's a group of like middle-aged people, which you don't necessarily see in these kind of films, and it's black and white, and it has this kind of, again, haunting, atmospheric feel to it. So that was really good. Celia is on this, the Australian film, which second run I've released, which I love. It's a great wee film that I did a random review on a couple of years ago. Alan Clark's Penda's Fen is on it, which I still need to watch. A Field in England's on it. Again, I did a video overviewing this set, but Tilbury is an experience. Again, I haven't went into too much spoilers, and I certainly haven't put pictures of Tilbury because that would be crazy. Yeah, if you get a chance to see it, it is well worth a look, but don't be surprised if you kind of go, that was a bit weird. But it might put you off eating chocolate for a little while, and always checking women's inner thighs in case they've got a teat protruding from it. So thanks so much for watching this really random review of Tilbury. Please let me know what you think of it, if you've seen it before, and hopefully you'll join me again for slightly less random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, slightly bemused, saying farewell.